Hey folks, I'm back with another gear tutorial. This is a tutorial again on the RP1000, working on different ways of getting a lead boost. There's a lot of different methods. The first and the most obvious is really just to make separate presets for rhythm sounds, clean sounds, lead sounds, etc. I've got a rhythm sound dialed up. And then right next to that, I have a lead sound. So I just switch over, and then I mean, it's got a little bit more mids, a little bit more gain, some more reverb, a little bit of delay, and that's the easiest way to do it. But I understand the draw to using pedalboard mode, which a lot of people use. So I created this preset here. This is a more dynamic preset. I can play it pretty loud with some gain. If I roll the volume back a little bit, so I have a clean sound and a lead and a rhythmy, kind of gainy rhythm sound just using the volume control here. But let's say I wanted to get some lead. I wanted a volume boost so that I could really cut through the mix. Some people set up just compressors or distortion with all the settings down and the level all the way up. There's a problem with this though, because you'll affect your tone a little bit. And if you like the sound that you have and you don't want the tone to get messed up, then you don't really want to do that. So I'm not going to do that because I like the tone that I have and I don't want more gain or anything like that. So I'm just going to kick it down here. I'm going to show you one way to get a boost. Now it's going to replace one of the functions of these, and in this case I don't use the chorus in this preset. So I'm just going to scroll all the way down until I get to the expression line. I'm going to turn this first knob until it says foot switch 8, which is this one. The second knob is going to be the setting that it affects, and I want it to affect, let's say I'll turn it all the way to the left so it says no link, and then I'm going to turn it to the right until I get to amp level. Boom, there it is. And now this third knob is going to be the amp level at minimum, and this fourth knob is going to be the amp level at maximum. That means this first knob is going to be what it's at when the light's off, when the switch is off. This knob here is going to be what it's at when the light's on and the switch is on. A good way to start is actually to check what your amp level is to start with, so I just got out of that. I'm going to kick this a little bit, boom. I can see that it's at 40. And that's what's going to give me the sound that I want. So I'm going to go back down into that expression line, get to foot switch 8, amp level, and I want this minimum value to be 40 because that's the default that I have it set at with the switch off. And then I want the switch to be a lead boost, so this next one I'm going to boost it up to, let's say 50. We'll go 10 notches. 10 notches is usually pretty good. It might be a little exaggerated for the purposes of this, but it does the job. And then I'm going to test it out. Turn the switch off, and you'll see the amp level at 40. Turn the switch on, you'll see the amp level at 50. Off, on, or 60. No, I did that wrong. Let's go back. 50, there we go. So we got 40, 50. Perfect, that's what we want. And now we can hear it at 40. And then we'll kick on the boost. You can hear the volume difference. And now if I wanted to make it lead, I would add some delay or some reverb or something, but at least then it gives you an idea. So let's store that, and we're good to go. So that's all fine and dandy. What happens if you're not using the amp modeling built into the unit? What happens if you have it set up through an amp, let's say an amp cab bypass mode, or say you have the amp loop on or something, and you're bypassing and you're not using the amp and cab built into the unit. So I've got a preset here and I've got the 4-cable method set up, but I have it set up a little differently, and I'll explain why. Traditionally in this unit there is a specific amp loop, and then you have a separate stomp loop. This has advantages But the major disadvantage is you have no way that I know of, at least, to get a good clean boost, meaning not affecting your tone in some way. I'll show you the one way that I figured out, but it eliminates your ability to use a delay pedal. So here's the way that I figured out to get a boost. So here's the tone. And now we want to get a boost. So I don't have an amp set up. I'm using an actual amplifier. So I can't just change an amp level because it doesn't exist. It's the same apply if you have the amp loop on, the amp level won't make a difference. If you have the amp cap bypass mode on, the amp level won't make a difference. So all you can really do is, that I've figured out, is you go in, you pick your delay, and you set it to, I do digital, and then I take the time all the way to 0, take the repeats all the way to 0, everything else all the way to 0. Whoops. Well, it doesn't really matter what that is. We'll go with a quarter note. And then we want the delay level. Let's just max it out to give you an example. And then I'm going to link the delay pedal to, we'll just link it to the delay. Yeah, okay, it's already there. So delay off. And then we kick it on, and all it's really doing, because there's no repeats and the time is 0, is it's just repeating the signal of the guitar immediately, which basically is just doubling the volume. So 99 might be a bit of a stretch for the delay level. Let's take it down to 50. That might be a bit more realistic of a boost. And that'll work. But the downside is, it eliminates your ability to use a delay pedal. But instead of having your amp plugged into the amp loop and either the amp loop engaged or the amp cap bypass engaged, what I do is I set the amp up in the stomp loop, and I enable the stomp loop, and with the stomp loop on, and the amp actually set up in the stomp loop, I could still use stomp boxes if I want. I can just take it out of here, go into the stomp boxes, and then go to the amp, or take the stomp boxes after the amp as it returns here, whether I want it before or after the preamp. But the advantage to having it set up with the stomp loop instead of the amp loop is you can go through, pick your amp cabinet, and you can pick direct. And when you pick direct, this gives you the ability to change the amp level. Now, with the amp cap bypass switch on, or with the amp loop on, there's no way to do that. And this is the best way that I know of to get a clean volume boost. Now, I've got the default amp level set to 89, default, the amp being direct, which is giving me a clean direct signal. It's not affecting the EQ or anything at all. And then if I want that clean boost, I just set it up the same way I set it up in the previous one. Let's say I wanted to replace the chorus one again. I'll go to foot switch 8. I'll pick, in this case it won't say amp level, unfortunately. You'll scroll through everything. Oops. And this is why I scroll all the way to the left, because I scroll to the right until I see EQ on. And when I see EQ on, I go to the left, one click, and it'll say level. And in this case, it's the level of that direct amp level. And so this first one, I want to set it to what the normal setting is, which in this case is 89. And then I want the second one to be it when it's boosted, and so we'll just jack it up all the way to 99. And let's see how that sounds. So now we have a clean boost, and we're not using the preamps in this unit, we're using the separate amp. The only thing you don't want to do is turn off the stomp loop. So turn on the stomp loop when you have it set like this, and set everything up, set it up for direct. Use I personally use 89 as the starting point, and then the boost goes up to 99. And that gives me the clean boost that I want to have a good lead sound using the amp. And that is it. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Hope it helped. If you ever have any questions about any gear, but in particular the Digitech RP1000, then I'm usually happy to answer right away. Hit like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see more videos like this on the way. Thanks a lot.